I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
There's a cat over here. There's a cat over there. And the wrong one died. And the wrong one died.
Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and this episode is powered by Welcome to Timesquare.com, the billboard where you can be the star for a day. I am very excited about today's guest. You might have seen her as Cinderella in Bad Cinderella, or currently as Myrtle in The Great Gatsby, or you hopefully are listening to her podcast, Entre Acts, which is part of the Broadway Podcast Network. She's worked closely with Andrew Lloyd Webber, so I'm excited to talk about everything Andrew today. So welcome, Linedy Genao. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the catastrophe. It made me laugh.
That's the theme, is that when I saw the show the first time, I did not know what I saw. And I know you have had similar experiences. So let's actually start there. Let's start Cats, and then we'll get into all the other things that you've done. I know you haven't seen the show a ton, but you've seen it a few times, and you've seen the new Jellicle Ball, right?
Yes. So I first saw it the last Broadway revival. When was that?
2016.
2016. Yeah. So I was in On Your Feet during that time. One of our cast members, Ariana Rosario, left On Your Feet to go do Cats. I don't remember the name of the cat she played, but she sang the really high C at the end, the young cat.
Okay. So probably Cassandra?
I think so. Actually, yeah. Yeah.
We can look it up.
So we went to go support her. And when I watched Cats, I didn't know anything about it other than the song Memory, because obviously who doesn't know Memory? And I was like, wow, this was amazing. The dancing, the singing. I don't know what I just watched. I don't know what this was about. It was just about a bunch of cats. And I didn't understand what I just watched, but it was amazing. I was like, wow. And then when I saw the Jellicle Ball downtown, I was like, wow, I actually understand what Cats is about. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And obviously it was completely different production. And I was like, wow, I actually understand what Cats is, because Lord have mercy, before I did it, I was just like, this is amazing, but did I just watch?
Yeah, that's the catastrophe. Like that's the part. Because I had the same reaction. I saw that same production. I saw the second to last preview, and I knew nothing about it. I knew Memory and literally nothing else. And I walked out just mesmerized and confused. And then I kind of dug in, and that's where this whole thing kind of started. Did you see the 2019 movie in between?
I didn't.
No.
I know. I've heard. I don't like ever saying that something is bad. You'll never find me saying that something is bad. I'll just be like, oh, no, it was really good. And then people will see on my face. I feel bad, like art, people liked it, people didn't, whatever. But I should see it because I've heard a lot of things.
I have notes. My thing is, I like that because I'm the same way. I just say that wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. Like it might be for somebody else, but I actually had pieces of that movie that was for me. So that's okay. I think there are moments there, but okay, I'm glad that you just skipped it.
Yeah, and watching that 2016 production, what I did love the most about it was, number one, obviously watching Cats finally. Yeah. Right? But also, it was kind of a blast to the past with all that 80s, the organ sound. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was just like, wow, I feel like I'm in the 80s right now. Or this is the music that, kind of like Stranger Things, like all of, you know what I'm talking about? That organ sound.
Definitely.
So that was kind of iconic. I was like, oh, wow, I feel like I've been transported to a certain time in history. So.
I had just moved here, so I had only seen more modern things. And that was actually what sparked this, is I kind of asked a friend who worked in Broadway, being like, what do I need to go see? Like, I now live here. I can go on a Tuesday. What are those shows? And that was like, Cats is being revived. Let's go. And I ended up there. I think it was the first or second thing I saw since moving here.
Wow.
So it was a very transformative time.
Where'd you move from?
Indiana.
Cool.
So I saw plenty of things on the tours, but not, like that's The Lion King. And like those are big touring. I still haven't seen The Lion King.
I know. Hot take. I'm sorry. I did have tickets for my sisters. I still haven't gone. But when I was in On Your Feet across the street, my family was coming into town, and I was like, let me get you tickets for Lion King. I believe it was the Women's March going on, and so my dad was stuck in traffic for about 3 hours and didn't make it to the theater in time. And then I forgot to call that phone number where you could get your tickets exchanged or whatever, so those tickets got lost.
Somebody probably enjoyed their extra space that day.
As they should. It's okay.
This is you didn't see it. When it toured, I saw it after. I'll give the explanation because I fell asleep. Not because it wasn't great and not because Lion King isn't like visually stunning. It's because it came after a full weekend of our state hockey tournament, and I had played 6 games in 2 days. And then we went to the show that night, and I was I basically, when we walked in, I'm not going to make it. Like, it doesn't matter what's in front of me.
That was me with A Chorus Line. So only because I was tired too. So the only times I ever saw Broadway shows growing up were because of my high school field trips. So I lived in Connecticut at the time. To get to a matinee, we're up at 6 a.m, to have breakfast, whatever, getting on the bus at whatever time. So by the time you're sitting down at 2 o'clock for the matinee, you are dead. Mm-hmm. So by the time we got to the first ballad, I was out. But then I woke up and I loved it.
I've never seen it. Another one I've never seen.
I only saw it because, again, my high school trip.
Okay. So what did you think about the 2016 production? Like, besides supporting a friend, did you have any idea what you were watching?
I literally didn't. I was just mesmerized by the dancing. I knew it was a very athletic and dance-heavy show. So I think that was one of my first ever dance-heavy shows like that. And it was incredible to watch these artists tell the story and bring to life this, again, something I didn't understand because I didn't understand what I was watching, but expressing it with their body. It was absolutely incredible. And also seeing the different makeup, learning from Ariana that they had to do their own makeup. Mm-hmm. That was really, really cool. So just seeing that from up front, I had a really good seat. I didn't know what to expect, but I was there supporting friends. I had another friend in the show, Tyler. So just watching it and cheering them on and just being wide-eyed and literally brand new to this world of cats.
Was it Tyler Haynes?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's right in your face pretty quickly in that show.
Yes.
Did anybody come and scare you in the beginning?
No, thank God. No, but I was scared. I'm not a cat person. Sorry. I wasn't raised with cats. I don't know, so I'm scared. And so seeing human cats, kind of scarier.
A lot. It's a lot. And then you went to the PAC. How much did you know about that production before you went to see the downtown one?
Just from what I saw on social media, and I was living, I was like, I can't wait to see this. This is so cool. The only knowledge I had about the ballroom culture was a friend that I did in the Heights with at Oni Theater Center. Oh my gosh, his name is slipping my mind right now. Used to do balls and invited us to one while we were in the DC area. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is so cool. It's so freeing. I don't know. It was just incredible. And so to know that it was being fused with Broadway and with Andrew Lloyd Webber on top of that, I was like, whoa. I need to see this.
Yeah. I do think and this can be part of our transition to Bad Cinderella, but it seemed like that kind of Cinderella in London, Bad Cinderella on Broadway led into Sunset and Cats and Evita and all these kind of full reimaginings of shows that he's done. So being a huge part of Bad Cinderella as Cinderella and, what was that like working with him kind of in this period where you're not in the 80s where he's kind of running these, but he's kind of rethinking all these things and you're getting to have a front row seat of that?
It was, I wouldn't change that experience for the world. It was absolutely incredible. The whole time in my head, I'm like, you're so cool. Yeah. I used to call him Mr. A. You're so cool. Obviously, we know him for all of his iconic work and traditional work, Phantom and, again, Cats and Evita, Sunset. But Bad Cinderella was young and hip and something completely unexpected, at least for me, from him. And so I'm just really grateful to have been a part of that, to have collaborated, especially on his one original song for Bad Cinderella. He used to ask me, how do you feel about this? I'm like, why are you asking me? How do I feel about this? Mr. Andrew, Sir, Lord, whatever, Andrew Webber, what? So to even have him want to hear my opinion or just to feel respected and appreciated in that way was more than I could ever ask for.
Yeah. I was really fortunate. I interviewed Robin before, so I got to come see the show and chat through it because I was a huge fan of that show. I thought it was so fun. I thought it was very campy and very entertaining, and I always walked out happier than I walked in, which is something I actually really look for in theater. And so again, I'm kind of curious about that whole experience because it was it was such a show that had a very polarizing effect. Like there was a group of people, myself included, that like loved it, and there were a lot of people that didn't enjoy it as much. And like you said, you're not a fan of saying that. Like it's either for you or not for you. But there was a lot that came with that. So what was that experience like for you?
That, obviously, the good was, incredible. And I tried to not let the bad of it all, bad, no, kind of flood that or just take away from that. But of course it was hard because I always say the one thing, I would never take that experience. I never took it for granted, and I would do it all over again. The one thing that I would do differently is not look at my phone so much. But it was hard because people would literally tag me.
Yeah.
So, and saying vile, disgusting things. And it was really, I've had a few people reach out and apologize, which means a lot. But I think our show was also the launch of this like TikTok, social media, hateful, I walked out at intermission, don't go see the show kind of thing. And it's like you said, this show was just meant to be campy and fun and ridiculous. We weren't trying to like sit here and change the mold of musical theater or like, it was just a silly, fun show. And shows like that deserve to be, to exist, just like serious, dramatic, important shows do as well. But we also changed lives on that show. So many people reached out saying they finally saw themselves represented on stage, whether it was through me or a gay prince or just so many different, ways that our show represented people. Our Cinderella alternate, Savvy Jackson, non-binary, just finally people seeing themselves represented on stage in so many different ways was absolutely incredible, more than we could have ever asked for. And I feel like that was the goal. But yeah, that was a very challenging time because while I was trying to navigate my own experience with that, my first time leading a Broadway show like that, immense pressure, being Andrew Lloyd Webber's leading lady, his first Latina leading lady to originate a role on Broadway, so many firsts, so many incredible things. I had to take care of myself and take care of everyone else because if I crumbled, everyone crumbled. I'll never forget when the day after opening, best day of our lives, and then to come to the next show after and, hear about those reviews. I didn't read them or anything like that, but obviously you hear. And then also our closing notice, getting it 20 minutes before half hour and having to perform and put on a brave face. Everyone's looking at me to see how I'm going to react. I cried in my room by myself and then I got it together. And then by the time I got to everyone, I had to be strong and set an example. So that was really hard, but also taught me so much. But I wouldn't trade that experience for the world.
You said putting the phone down, which is, I think, a very interesting thing to deal with that you all have to deal with that someone like me, that doesn't deal with in a corporate setting in the world. You kind of kicked off the show literally with a leg kick that broke the internet in a sense. And so was that, I know you've spoken about it a little bit, but is that the beginning of that all? Before performances, even just in the press junket of that, you kind of had this viral moment. And was that just a little bit of the taste of what was yet to come?
Oh, absolutely. So funny story. They told me what was going to happen. And again, I didn't understand the gravity of that. I didn't understand the gravity of Bad Cinderella. Now that I'm outside of it, I was like, wow, I was in the eye of the hurricane. I didn't understand the gravity of it all. And I think it's because I had so many good people taking care of me and didn't allow any of that outside noise to kind of consume me. And again, I didn't go to school for theater. I learned everything because of my colleagues and because of this industry and because of all of these experiences. So I didn't understand, again, the pressure and the gravity and all of that. When we're doing press and all that stuff, I'm like, oh yes, promote the show. I didn't understand a Tony campaign or things like that. I didn't understand. I'm like, yeah, I'm going on this interview to promote this and this and this. I didn't know that there's a whole thing, that I'm inside of. But again, it's because I had so many great people taking care of me. But that moment, they were like, yeah, you're going to spray paint. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never spray painted it before. So we were practicing. They're like, yeah, go over the letters a bunch of times, which is why I went over the letters a bunch of times. My gosh, people were trolling me for literally anything. And all I was told was, you're going to spray paint the B. Wow, I can't even remember. You're going to turn around, look at the camera, give a look. My leg happened to go up. I don't know the way that I went up, whatever. And then I did the D, and that was that. And again, best day of my life, so exciting. I did not know there was going to be that many cameras, that many people. Again, I didn't understand what this was, you know? But I guess with Andrew's shows, they always have like some sort of big press event to promote the show, or at least this one. And so I'll never forget, right after that, so excited, I went on to the Imperial stage for the first time. It looked like a construction zone because, of course, they were loading everything in, you know, and I was like, wow, like my literal dream come true. Again, another bucket list moment that I never expected because I went to school for business. I worked in banking, so never expected any of this. And that same day, like an hour later, I had to go to rehearse for Good Morning America, whatever morning show we performed at, literally the next morning at 4 a.m. I can't remember, but I had a rehearsal for that. So I'm walking on my way to the rehearsal. I had opened up my phone. My social media was like, I've never seen so many likes and comments and friend requests in my life. I was very overwhelmed. And I just started seeing all the comments I was being tagged in and like vile things already. You know, I had just been announced, hadn't even opened my mouth to sing. By the time I opened my mouth to sing the next day at 4 a.m, that was already another problem. And I made a video and I thought about posting it, and I go back and forth, but I made a video about how you can experience the highs of highs and the lows of lows in the same moment. How I just left the press release of Andrew Lloyd Webber's newest musical and me being announced as the leading lady, somebody that looks like me with a name like me, with the experience that I have and lack of experience that I have, my family there watching me. And then I'm walking to go rehearse to perform with Andrew Lloyd Webber on a national morning show. And I'm being torn to shreds. And I have to put on a brave face while I go and rehearse this to then perform at 4 a.m. and have people judge me. Like, it was a crazy 24 hours of experiencing that. And on top of that, I was doing On Your Feet at Paper Mill Playhouse. And, you know, another very full circle moment for me, the show that started everything for me. I, you know, went to an open call, got that audition, got that job with high school theater experience, and kind of like now doing that role again, and now as my own, launching me into this next chapter of my career. You know, it was a lot to handle. So that first day definitely was a very big taste of what was to come.
Mm-hmm. It's a good reminder. I mean, I think people who are listening to this are not the people that are sending those comments, maybe a few, but for the most part, it's like it's faceless trolling that's happening. And the reminder that's like there's a real person on the other side of that receiving it. And I guess there's a level of celebrity and people that can ignore it and are capable of just tuning it all out. But like the majority of people can't, because like it's very real. So
and again, it's you can say, like, again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you will never catch me tagging somebody saying some disgusting, vile stuff. Like, I'm just not that person, and it just takes so much to do that. But you know, I've been vocal about this on my podcast about how I was afraid. For the first time in my life, I started thinking, will I ever work again? And I know that that's something that a lot of actors experience. And after Bad Cinderella closed, that was when I finally experienced that. Not because I had reached an apex of my career. It was more, will this follow me forever? Will all this negativity and people just waiting for when I announce the next thing jump on me with, like, you know, again, all those vile comments? I was really afraid of that. And I was like, I don't know if I'll ever work again because of this, because people are going to drag me through the mud about the most ridiculous things, you know. Like, there have been shows that have lasted less than Bad Cinderella, and they were incredible. You know what I mean? So it's like, for some reason, our show was like the one to just, you know, drag through the mud. But I'm so, so grateful that right now, as Myrtle Wilson in The Great Gatsby, I feel so redeemed, not for anyone else, but for myself. Like, I feel so good in this role. I am challenged every day. I'm doing some of the best singing and acting I've done in my career, I can proudly say. And I think it's because this was my first time stepping into a role, which also I was nervous. You know, people have their preconceived notions about roles and, you know, people that originated them, and I was bringing a whole different take. But I'm so proud of the work that I'm doing. And I think it's because I'm not Gatsby in The Great Gatsby. I'm not opening that show. All eyes aren't on me. I'm not being reviewed. I'm not, you know, again, I'm just stepping into the role, doing my own thing, surrendering. There's no pressure. And that has helped me blossom and grow so much personally, professionally, artistically. And I'm really, really, really grateful to be doing this after Bad Cinderella.
Yeah. There is a piece of like Cinderella and Cinderella, Gatsby and Gatsby, like being that thing. And I actually think that's kind of some of the beauty of Cats is that there isn't one. Like I know there's Memory and Grisabella, but like the show needs all of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very ensemble-led kind of piece to that. I want to come back to Gatsby. I do have one more question though about Bad Cinderella, because this was the moment in Bad Cinderella, the first time I saw it, where, you know, at this point I'd been doing enough with Cats where I knew a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber's, at least some of his work. And as someone who like does not know theater that well, knows more since I've started the show, I didn't know all of the stuff he's worked on. I didn't know everything he does. And that was the first time where I remember when I heard Man's Man. And then I was like, I had learned all about Victoria's Lift being her coming of age story. And I was like, this guy writes a few songs that are a little, I'll use the word horny.
Ay, Dios mío.
And I'm now catching on. I'm sure if you listen to this episode and you're like, here are all the other ones, because there's definitely a couple on Starlight Express I've heard now where I'm like,
I don't even know that musical, but I might have to listen now to see
seen
if
it one
your theory
time
is
and
correct.
I'm like, I think those two trains are supposed to be doing it, you know, like.
Ay, ay, ay.
So that song is about the mom singing about the son.
Oh Lord.
And everybody's shirtless. You're not on during this, right?
Listen, I was in my dressing room getting ready to sing my face off for the next song. So if that's what Man's Man was about,
is that not what it's about?
I didn't know. I don't know. I don't even remember. It's been 3 years. Can you believe that?
Wow.
But I don't doubt it. I think so.
It definitely feels that way. It's
Grace
a lot.
McLean, we need your help.
If you like to, so I again love the show. I know there's a group of people that love the show. Tell me that that's not what that song's about. If there's more to it, if I'm missing something, but I
don't remember the lyrics.
Oh, you should listen to them. We'll play them after here.
Okay.
We'll play them after we finish because it'll be eye-opening.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died. Let's go to Gatsby. I love Gatsby. Had a few people on from the show. It's been going on for a while now. So you got to come in and kind of, like you said, put your own spin on it. So how has that experience been? And then since you're still doing it, as when this show comes out, like this podcast comes out, like what can people expect when they come to see it?
It's been an amazing experience, and I've been lucky to be there with 2 or 3 big turnovers. So I've gotten to perform with incredible artists and actors. Our show's amazing. It's an ensemble heavy piece, like you're saying. It takes everyone. It's not just about Gatsby. There's so much more. What can people expect? Specifically with Myrtle, what I am most proud of, because I'll never forget, someone at the stage door once told me, again, sometimes the stage door, y'all, please be careful with what you say. It's just like, then you have to watch your face because they have a camera up. And I'm like, coño, then this is about, somebody was like, oh, you play such a great skank. And I was like, thank you. And it's just like Myrtle and Daisy are doing the same thing. They are both unhappy in their marriages. They are both having an affair, seeking something from these men for themselves. But Myrtle is labeled a skank because she's poor. And Daisy's rich, so she's good to go. And I'm just like, when they said that to me, I kind of went through it a little bit because I'm like, is that how I'm portraying her? Because that's not what she is. Because why isn't Daisy being called a skank? Why isn't Gatsby being called a skank? Why isn't Tom Buchanan? I mean, he is a skank, but he's not being called a skank. You know what I'm saying? So that was one comment out of a million. But what I'm most proud of with Myrtle is that my interpretation of her is she is just a woman who is a survivor and doing what she needs to do, as we all do, to survive and to get what we want and to survive, like literally to survive. Mm-hmm. She's unhappy in her circumstance. And especially in that time period, as women, there were so many limitations. So she ultimately realizes that it's a one-way road, which is my big number at the end, which I love. Whether she goes with Tom Buchanan or she stays with George Wilson, she's always going to lose. She's never going to get happiness. She's never going to get the things that she wants. And it's a struggle every night. And what I'm most proud of, sorry, to get back to that, is when I hear people say, I didn't like Myrtle, and then I was rooting for her at the end. You made me like her and you made me root for her. And I'm like, I did my job.
Yeah.
I did my job because, again, she's doing the same thing as everybody else. But for some reason, because she's like the sex symbol or whatever, she's Tom Buchanan's little side chick, she gets dismissed and kind of like her value is just degraded from that. And I'm like, that's no, you know?
I think whoever said that at the stage door probably didn't do too well in their English class growing up, because that's a pretty core parallel to the show. Like that's,
literally,
that's a big part of it, right?
And then the people next to me were like, "Did she really?" And I said, "Yes, she did."
Yeah, yeah.
So,
okay. And now let's talk about Entre Acts, your new podcast.
Yes.
On the Broadway Podcast Network.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you, Alan, and the Broadway Podcast Network, and welcome to Times Square. My new podcast, Entre Acts, is about to wrap season 1. I'm actually recording my season 1 finale right after this.
Right after.
And it's about the entre act, the in-between of our lives as artists, between shows, between our next acts and jobs, and that transitional period, and how oftentimes we are ashamed or feel shameful or embarrassed about, because if you're not working, it's like, well, what are you doing next? And that in-between period of like, I literally don't know what I'm doing next, comes with a lot of embarrassment, and it's always something negative. And I wanted to shed light on, no, that this is a time for growth, a time for refilling your cup. And I wanted to empower that time and create a space where we talked about that in a positive way, because everyone goes through that. I always say, you don't ask a teacher or shame them in the summertime, like, what are you doing in the summer? Literally enjoying my life before September comes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, why are we held to a different standard, or why is there so much pressure on us as artists to always perform, to always have something? You know, we deserve that rest, and we deserve to feel good and to feel confident during that time and not be kind of like bashed.
Totally. There is this like belief when someone's like leaving a show that it's like, okay, well, they're going somewhere next, and not necessarily like no, they just want some time off or like a vacation. And because there is such I think more so a pressure in your industry to not take days off.
Yes.
And like you have usually one, day that you're actually not performing. You're doing 8 shows a week, which is physically demanding. And I think about, I took a 2-week vacation from my corporate job the other day, and the company survived.
Exactly.
And it's like, if that's a big thing, if someone steps out for 2 weeks. And so I do I feel for that. Has there been a moment in this first season, like one thing that's like really stood out to you that one guest has said, or something that is really kind of stuck with you having these conversations?
That we all go through it, whether we talk about it or not. That those feelings of, am I ever going to work again? Who am I? Who am I if I'm not in a show? Those identity, not crisis, but just like figuring out who you are outside of your artistry is something we all go through. Everyone with the most accolades or with none. And it's very empowering. And I love how we are humanizing that, because we are all human, and we deserve rest, and we deserve time off. And we deserve to also be okay with not knowing what comes next, Yeah, it's been really inspiring to know that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm. So let's manifest some season 2 guests. Who's the dream guest for season 2?
Who's the dream guest for season 2? Lin-Manuel Miranda, like, come on,
Okay.
Love you, Lin.
Okay. We can make that. You can.
And
make
you know
that
what,
happen.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. We could have some tea, talk about Evita, talk about
he's going to be
Bad Cinderella.
back here.
I know.
Next, for sure.
Andrew,
next year.
You know where to find me.
I was going to say.
Ya tú sabes.
Okay, let's wrap us up with some rapid fire cats questions.
Uh-oh.
So if you could perform any cat in the show, who would you want to go on as? And you can do this as the Jellicle Ball or the 2016
I'm going to have to do the Jellicle Ball, because that's what I saw most recently. Skimbleshanks, because Emma Sophia is that girl.
The best. Who are your favorite and least favorite characters in the show? We're going to ignore performers, just like from a personality standpoint. Which one kind of bugged you and which one did you love?
So my issue is that even though I saw Cats twice, I don't really know cats.
We can help with the names. I can help you with the names. Describe them.
I don't even remember the cats other than Skimbleshanks.
Okay.
Grisabella, Rumtugtug, Gus, McCafferty. That's all I remember.
Okay.
Okay, least and favorite. Okay, favorite Skimbleshanks. Least favorite. I don't know, because I don't remember what Gus does.
You don't have to say.
Don't cancel me. I don't remember who Gus is.
Least favorite. You said you don't like to do that anyways. You don't have a least favorite.
I just I don't know.
Favorite
No,
song?
not Gus Gus, because that makes me think of Cinderella. Okay. Favorite song? Jellicle, Jellicle.
Okay.
Jellicle. Uh-huh.
Okay. If we could add one cat to Bad Cinderella and Great Gatsby, who are we adding?
Oh, to Bad Cinderella, since we were talking about man's man, Rum Tum Tugger.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the Jellicle Ball, Rum Tum Tugger.
Sydney.
Sydney. Because Sydney's already shirtless, man's man shirtless. Like, they were working out, like, perfect. Fit right in. And in Gatsby, McCavity.
Yeah. McCavity's
I do like McCavity's song, too, now. I remember.
great song.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my entire show centers on the fact that I don't think Grisabel's the right Jellicle choice. So who is your Jellicle choice and why?
My Jellicle choice and why? I just love you, Emma Sophia, and I can't get you out of my head. Skimbleshanks. She deserves peace and happiness. And
You're not the first Skimbleshank vote. There's a couple for sure. So I'm for it.
yeah.
How can people stay in touch with you? And we'll link, obviously, the Great Gatsby and Entre Acts and everything else. But how can people stay in touch with you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok at Linedy Genao, my podcast as well at Entre Acts. And we also have a YouTube channel, a TikTok and Instagram.
All the above.
Mm-hmm.
And positive comments. Send nice things and great stuff with what you love.
Be nice to people.
We need more peace in the world.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to see Cats again because now you inspired me to watch it again. Maybe I'll watch the movie tonight.
Yeah, let's start you. Let's get you to the Jellicle Ball
Okay.
at the Broadhurst.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of versions happening around the country and internationally. So we can send you to one of those. Although, again, we just talked about how it's so hard.
When should I watch the movie?
After some extracurriculars to help with the movie, that would be my advice. Treat it kind of Rocky Horror style. Like go in with that. Like know it's camp. Go in with fun.
Perfect.
Yell at the screen. Throw stuff at it. Like
Can't
there
wait.
are a couple versions I've seen that are starting to do that. So there's yeah. So I think it's gonna have a second life.
Cult favorite.
That's what I see. But
Oh.
well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thanks everyone for listening to this episode of The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe, powered by welcome to timesquare.com, the billboard where you can be the star for the day. To follow along, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or podcast. Follow us on social media at The Wrong Cat Died, or check our website, thewrongcatdied.com.